Finals brought to you by Supra. Looking back at the top four, Darin Shapiro, one of the winningest riders in the sport, the Australian Brett Eisenhower, and a rarity and a first for Gravity Games Finals, both Bonifays, Shane with older brother Parks. Darin Shapiro would be the first rider to take to the water, and Darin, unfortunately, experiencing a very unfortunate year, has not done well in competitions like he normally does. Would first take to the super slider.
And the conditions out here, much like the women's, were just choppy, very difficult. He did manage to pull off a switch 540. He began his career in 1991. He was 17 years old and has been the most winningest rider in the sport of wakeboarding. You can see that switch 540 brings it around perfectly, gets the landing, and right here, the stalefish front flip. Again, very difficult to do with these conditions. You want glassy conditions and a perfect wake. That was not the case here. He busted right through that one.
Yeah, Darin definitely utilizing his strength. These conditions did not allow a lot of these riders. Something as simple as a gap over the slider, the super slider. Darin would go down. A lot of these riders not able to get those clean ollie pops that you need to get up onto the sliders. Something that Darin Shapiro would never go down on in glassy conditions. So Darin Shapiro would respectively just miss the podium in 4th place. Then it was time for the Australian Brett Eisenhower. We always mention this. He lives the endless summer. It's pretty incredible. Goes between Australia and Florida, back and forth within the competition season, and does so much for the sport of wakeboarding in Australia as well down in Florida, experiencing one of his best competition seasons ever.
He's been pro here in the States since 1998, and in 2001 he had his breakout year, and since then he has been consistent, placing in the top 10 in the finals. You can see him here on the slider, doesn't get the entire obstacle slid, but on his wake-to-wake moves, making do with such choppy conditions, does get the toe side front roll.
Yeah, you have to give Ike and all of the other finalists just major credit for able to pull any wake-to-wake combinations. Ike definitely relying on his strength and years of experience on the competitive tour.
And each of these riders will take 2 passes, 1 up. They have to hit their obstacles and wake-to-wake tricks. Then they turn around and do the same thing going back. It's 1 run in the finals. Now he's setting up for the final obstacle, and it was an off-access 360, and he was psyched about pulling it off. Here he connected with the slider, locked on for the entire obstacle, and then finally with the off-axis 360, you can see the way his body spins on a horizontal plane, stopping the landing.
Textbook Eisenhower style, and Brett Eisenhower would secure the bronze medal, his first Gravity Game medal ever. Then it was time for the younger of 2 Bonifays, Shane Bonifay. Rides endlessly with his brother, the likes of Eric Ruck and the other pointless crew down in Florida, and known for his innovation and progression on the sliders.
And he likes to take that progression into the competitions. He's hit or miss when he rides in comps, and that's because he takes tricks that he may not have completely dialed. He'll just send it and really just go for the progression aspect of the sport. And you'll see it right here with the slider, getting really stylish, trying to get a nose press down, and that's what we're talking about. Really just taking tricks and punctuating them and adding his own flair.
Discernible difference when you see a rider such as Shane Bonifay on the sliders, as well as his brother Parks.
Coming up to the final obstacle, it was an off-axis 360, but he lost grip of the handle. However, using that skateboard influence, you can see him sliding board slide to lip slide over the A-frame. Once again, on the off-axis 360, unable to hold on to that handle as he got too far over the back end of his board.
So Shane Bonifay, first time on the podium and his first ever Gravity Games medal, a silver medal for Shane Bonifay. And it was on to Diddy Parks Bonifay, a combustible collection of creativity and new school progression. Just the consummate competitor, able to be beautiful on the wake-to-wake, solid on the sliders, and no surprise to see Parks in the final.
And you can see that as he transfers back and forth between switch variations and regular stance variations. solid all year long on the tour. Nice slip slide completely over the A-frame. And you'll notice with all his tricks like the S-bend just so big. The whirly bird wake to wake. Solid landings, getting good backside. And a backside lip slide across the entire slider.
Parks having a stand-up run on his first pass, and it was time for his second pass. Parks just missing the gold medal at this year's X Games. Danny Harf grabbed the gold there. It was at the X Games where Parks pulled out the double half-cab roll, a trick that would secure the win at the wakeboarding finals. And there it was.
And he's taking a trick that's normally done in videos and just throwing it down in competition, and you'll see great spin, lets go of the handle with one hand and just completely connects with the backside of that wake. Smooth landing.
So Parks Bonifay, the gold medalist, the 2003 Gravity Games wakeboarding finals. And here's a look at the final results. The first time ever at the Gravity Games, both Bonifays making the podium. Brett Eisenhower with the bronze.